Mass Effect 3 co-op. Something different, something fun, and something that gotta keep me from playing Call of Duty for a long ass time. So this is the game that I've been playing for weeks now, and those not familiar with Mass Effect, I ain't got time to explain that whole fucking story. Now, the raw footage of the gameplay is actually 18.5 minutes long, so I'm gonna be condensing, cutting, shortening, all of this shit because I'm not doing an 18-minute commentary. Plus, nobody's gonna sit here and watch 18 fucking minutes of commentary, no matter how much I curse. Doing 18 minutes of commentary is just straight hard and bullshit, so fuck it. I'm not breaking this shit into 2 parts either, of course, because that doesn't make any goddamn sense. So I'm just gonna stick to cutting this motherfucker and fast forwarding this shit. So if you notice things like going from wave 1 to wave 3 to wave 8, you'll see why I'm just skipping fucking whole waves because I ain't got time for that bullshit. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with Mass Effect and its story and what kind of game this is, it's like a shooter game meets a role-playing game. That's the best way I can describe it. There's lots of action, and the storyline of the campaign forces you to make choices throughout the game. So you can play this shit 100 times over and manage to play it differently 100 different times. Unlike Call of Duty, if you play that shit 100 times, basically you're just gonna play the same fucking way every time. You're gonna get a 4-hour campaign and you're gonna kill the motherfucker at the end. That's the way it works. In Mass Effect, you can do countless number of different things. So that's why it's like a great RPG game to play up in this motherfucker. Anyway, although this is an 18-minute video without cutting and shit, I'm not gonna explain the whole storyline of this bitch because it takes way too fucking long. The easiest way to summarize the plot of the 3 games, you are Commander Shepard, and you're trying to save the galaxy. That's it. From the moment you play part 1 to the end of part 3, your goal is to save the whole fucking galaxy. No pressure on you or anything like that, you know what I mean? So it's like 80 hours or 100 hours of gameplay in the middle of that motherfucker. I ain't got time to explain all that shit, because like I said, there's any kind of variable you can to finish this game, to complete the game, to even not complete the game, because there are ways you can not complete this motherfucker. So if you want an explanation on what Mass Effect was, Google that shit. But I will tell you, it's one of the best stories and one of the best games you'll ever play for those who aren't familiar with it and just want a good action game and shit like that. As far as co-op, Mass Effect works like every other co-op game ever created. As you can see, it's a third-person view, so obviously with a third-person shooter, you're going to have the cover system, and obviously that's going to be something that comes with any third-person shooter up in this motherfucker. And the goal of the game is to survive 10 increasingly harder waves of enemies, and then on the 11th wave, you have to go for an extraction, which you guys will see at the end. Basically, you just have to sit in a fucking circle and, you know, hold hands and whatnot, and you'll all survive this motherfucker. But anyway, of the 10 waves, you're going to get 3 objective waves. The 3rd wave, the 6th wave, and the 10th wave. You're going to have to do something other than just kill enemies and survive the motherfucker. And it could be anything. It could range from having to assassinate 4 separate enemy targets and shit like that. It could be holding down an area, you know, like this small circle, and you just have to sit there for like 2 fucking minutes until the goddamn, the little meter finishes. And then you also have this one we have to do, run around the map for 4 fucking uploads for no goddamn reason at all. So they got all kinds of shit, so it's not just sitting there shooting motherfuckers. You actually have to work as a team like that. You know, it's like Uncharted meets Halo or meets Gears of War. You have these badass characters that take on shitloads of enemies, and on top of the guns that you have, you get all these magic powers and shit. You guys are seeing me fire out stuff. You know, think of it like Ryu firing out Hadouken fireballs and shit like that at people. And the funny thing is, now that I mentioned it about Uncharted and shit like that, these 2 games do play very similar. Their co-op modes are almost identical in style now that you think about it. Aside from, I think Uncharted had like a campaign style mission, you know, where you and a couple friends play like what almost seems like the storyline. It doesn't have it in this game, but the objectives of the survival modes are pretty much similar. I mean, it's the best way I can describe it. The speed of the game is also very similar. You have to survive waves of enemies, you have to do the objectives, and the funny thing is that the objectives are very similar. In Uncharted, they had that shit called Siege, where basically you have to sit in the fucking circle and protect the whole circle, whatever the fuck. You earn cash, you buy shit. So this is sort of like Horde mode in Gears of War, or Zombies and Treyarch games, Survival in Modern Warfare 3. The game doesn't add anything that we haven't seen before in co-op. So it's not like this is video game gold right here. It's not like they came out with something that says, oh wow, this is fucking amazing. Nobody's ever gonna come. No, everybody's ever done this shit. But what they did was they created a fun and addicting multiplayer that's gonna keep you coming back and shit, because you just want to keep playing with friends and you want to keep unlocking and buying shit. It's sort of like the way Call of Duty was when it first came out, where you had to keep ranking up, you had to unlock shit. Basically, that's the way it feels. Now, in the game, you have 6 classes that you can use, all coming from the campaign side. And again, I'm not going to give a tutorial or rundown on each fucking one. Fuck that. You want to learn about it? You go Google it. I ain't got time for that shit. But anyway, I have the engineer class in this room, and I have some serious noobs up in this motherfucker with me. But anyway, each class does something that helps with the mission. And my guy is good at distracting people with that little glowing ball you see floating around. You see that little thing? It's like a combat drone. Basically, at a low level, it's just gonna piss enemies off. At the high level, that shit can fire out rockets, you name it. It could do all kinds of damage and shit like that. Now, my character, he's good at taking away enemy protection so that we could do more damage. A number of the enemies come with some form of protection to their health, whether it's a shield, a barrier, armor, whatever the shit is. So the engineer is excellent at taking away their protection, so that makes it easier to kill. That makes sense, right? So my motherfucker is important, don't get me wrong, but you don't need the engineer to survive on the lowest levels. It makes shit easier. I mean, when you get to the higher levels, you absolutely need that motherfucker. So obviously, when you're playing with friends and you're playing with a team, strategy-wise, you want to balance out the squad. You want to have, you know, an engineer, you want to have an infiltrator, you want to have a soldier. You want to have a balanced class that can pretty much take on any challenge thrown at you. So my guy would be to take out the protection, infiltrator goes invisible, you name it, we have some kind of ability up in this motherfucker. Now, playing with random idiots, basically, I pick a class that I know I can survive with. Because, man, you get some idiots up in this motherfucker. Now, the other cool thing is that since this game takes place across the galaxy and you meet aliens and shit in the campaign, co-op allows you to play with those alien races from the game. Now, the campaign has you teaming up with a number of characters from different species and shit, but you can only control the main character, which is human. You've never been able to control directly the alien races. I mean, you have the ability to command them, tell them where to go, tell them when to use their powers and shit like that, but co-op in Mass Effect 3 is the first time you can actually control all the main alien races of the Mass Effect story. So it's actually quite fun, and it's actually, for a lot of fans of the series, it was like, yes, I can finally control a Quarian, I can finally take control of a Krogan. They're like, oh man, this is like serious fucking nerd rage. They had like nerdgasms. Oh, I can be a Solarian. Oh, good for you, motherfucker. Just let me shoot some shit. Now, as far as the gameplay, the easier levels are always going to be extraordinarily easy, so that's why I'm playing this shit, because I don't trust my goddamn teammates. Now, when you bump it up to silver and gold, one, you better know your shit. That's beyond belief. You have to know what you're doing to be able to survive in gold and silver. You also got to be ranked up pretty good to handle the major ass whooping that's coming your way. And finally, you need to play with friends. There's no way in hell you're going to survive silver with randoms. Gold's out of the fucking question. Silver is hard enough with fucking random idiots. So you have to bring people that know how to play the game and that communicate up in this motherfucker. Now, the funny thing is, I've already posted 2 short clips so far from Mass Effect 3. The first one was me throwing grenades like a boss in the demo, and then I did a little sniping clip along with a noob in that other clip. But anyway, neither one got a lot of views. So my natural assumption is people are not interested in watching Mass Effect 3, which is fine, because it's not easy watching a whole video of this shit. But obviously, the majority of you guys prefer Call of Duty, but I'm not going to be playing that bullshit anytime soon. So while I continue to get my Mass Effect groove on, you guys are still going to be continuing to get some old-ass Modern Warfare 3 content. Unless, of course, my Mass Effect videos gets like a number of views and people want to see me kick some ass up in this bitch, but I highly doubt it. But I know from my past videos, whenever I posted things outside of Call of Duty, you know, like co-op games and Uncharted and shit like that, people are like, fuck this, give me Call of Duty. It's like, fuckers, expand your horizons, damn it. There are more games out there than Call of Duty, but obviously I know that's what the main thing that people want to see and shit like that. So it's cool. I have no problem with that, but obviously I'm going to be playing Mass Effect, so I don't know how much people are going to want to see that shit, but that's fine, whatever. I'll be posting up plenty of content, as you guys always know. However, one thing I was debating about doing, I'm being honest about this. I've never done, you guys never see me do live commentary, you never see me done Let's Play, but I really thought that I was going to do one for this game. Now, the thing is, the game's about a month old now, and I've yet to actually play the campaign. I went straight to co-op. I have not touched the campaign at all. It's been a month and a half, or a month about, since the fucking game was released and shit like that. Have not played the campaign. I was thinking, you know what? Maybe I might want to do a live commentary Let's Play type video, because you can only imagine the shit that comes out of my mouth when I play this. I mean, if you guys think I bitch and curse a lot when I play multiplayer, you haven't seen anything until I play the campaign. Oh man, do I bitch at boss fights and stupid enemy designs. Oh god, you name it, I will be cursing my ass off in the campaign. So I debated whether or not I wanted to do a whole live commentary Let's Play series on Mass Effect, but obviously it all depends on the views of the videos and shit like that, because I'll tell you right now, I tear developers new assholes when these games piss me off and shit like that. So depending on the feedback I get in this game, I might actually consider some Mass Effect Let's Play and whatnot, but obviously the game is fucking long as hell. It's gonna be 20, 30, 40 hours or whatever the fuck it is. So I don't know how fuck those videos are gonna work, because obviously playing for the first time, I don't know what's coming. I don't know the cutscenes, I don't know the conversations. I want to see the fucking story for the first time, so I don't know how that shit will work, but whatever, man. All depends on how people react to this video and shit like this. Anyway, this video's coming to an end. Obviously, you can see we got our extraction on and shit like that. That was the extraction. We had to sit in that fucking circle, like I said. And, of course, I'll finish with the most points up in this motherfucker. But anyways, as always, rate, comment, subscribe, and all that good shit. And leave me comments letting me know whether or not you want to see some more Mass Effect and shit like that.